Welcome back. So today I'm going to be talking about my camera setup for cycling vlogs. I know you guys have been asking for this a lot. I'm using a DJI Osmo Action 4, but if you are using an Action 5, I'm sure it works the same anyway. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the camera settings and the accessories that I use for my DJI Osmo Action 4. Wow, the name is so long. So yeah, let's just quickly jump into the camera settings first. Starting with the bottom here, if you click on the resolution, you can see I'm using 4K 16:9. Frame rate, I am at 24 FPS, and that's only because I don't do any slow motion shots. If you are planning to slow down any of the footage in your videos, make sure to shoot 50 and above. 50 and 60 is the ideal number for slow-mo shots, so that's a rough gauge for you. You can pick and choose. My stabilization is set on rock steady because I think that is good enough for cycling vlogs. You can go into the next section, which is exposure settings. Before I go through them, I just want to say that I love to just dial in a setting and not touch the camera after that. So a lot of the settings here that I will go through with you are things that I lock on, but I'll give you alternatives in case you want to play around with the setting. Starting with exposure, I always shoot on auto because on the bike you don't want to be fiddling with a touchscreen camera. You just want to set your settings and go and shoot. If you want to control the minimum shutter speed, actually if you go into auto, you can click the top left here and then it'll bring you into this screen. For shutter speed, I usually shoot with a minimum of 1/100. But if you watch my latest vlog, the footage is here. In the latest vlog, I actually shot in 1/24, which is the first setting. 1/24 gives you a lot more motion blur, but unfortunately, if you are like me and you ride a lot in the early morning, in the low light, the stabilization really is pretty crap. You have to really force yourself to be very stable, especially when cycling. I don't think you should shoot 1/24. I think the motion blur is not worth the shakiness, so I would just tell you to leave it on 1/100, but you can go and play around with the settings. For ISO, I have always left it at 100 to 3200. This is the best settings that you can leave and shoot throughout the day and it should still give you good footage. White balance is always on auto because I'm lazy. Color, D-lock. If you guys don't use D-lock, I would advise you to just switch to D-lock, especially if you use your computer to edit stuff. The only difference is that if you don't shoot on D-lock, you do not have flexibility in post. If something is too dark, you cannot really brighten it if you don't shoot in D-lock. FOV, I shoot on ultra wide. I don't touch this setting other than that. This is the next important setting, which is image adjustments. Sharpness, I like to leave it on -2. If you like your image to look very digital, you can just leave it on 0. But if you like a nicer looking, more film-like image, just go for -2 or -1. I leave mine on -2, especially for D-lock. I can shoot on -2 and add the sharpening back in post. Noise reduction, I have mine on -1. You can also use -2. What I realized is because I shoot in so much low light, the -2 will remove so much noise that the footage doesn't look sharp anymore. So I leave mine on -1, and if I need more noise reduction, I just use the noise reduction in DaVinci itself. So yeah, you can choose to play around this setting, especially noise reduction. Go and test it out and see what you prefer. They are both a little bit different. We're gonna go into like the main settings, which is not much as well. If you scroll down from the top, just swipe down, you can see I have only orientation lock on. And the reason why I lock my orientation is because I only shoot in landscape. If you shoot in portrait, then you can leave this on because it automatically switches your footage into portrait. If you go into the main menu here, down in the main menu, if you scroll down, I have not touched anything. Video compression, I have HEVC. Sounds, I leave it on low. It usually comes, I think, in high, but I find it too noisy, especially when you're recording people. I think it's more candid when people do not know that you are recording. So I always like to leave this on low. When I'm using my helmet mount or my chest mount, I like to switch it up to medium or high, just so that I know if it's recording when I press the button. With the low, you cannot really hear what's on your helmet, whether it's recording and your chest. So yeah, you can try that. Grid, I have normal grid on. So if you look on the front screen, on grid, you can kind of tell where the center line is and what roughly fits into a portrait shot. just so that when you're converting your YouTube stuff or your landscape stuff to portrait, you still have a gauge on whether or not the footage fits into portrait. If we go into the next important setting, this is one that really saves you a lot of battery. Screen off when recording. I have mine on 30 seconds. I find that 15 to 30 seconds works the best. This setting will literally save you a lot of battery life, because most of the time when you leave the screen on, that's when it drains the battery. On the bike, obviously, you are not going to be like, you know, looking and filming this way. You're going to be cycling and just roughly pointing. If you are like really looking at the screen and framing it while cycling, I would advise you to just not look at the screen. Like if you're on ultra wide, like you're literally going to catch everything in the shot wherever you point. One more setting that you have on the DJI that I think is pretty cool. If you do not know, there's this function where when the camera is off, you can just hit record and it will turn your camera on and immediately start recording. And when you kind of stop recording, it turns off in 3 seconds. That's all for the settings. Let's just go into camera accessories. We'll start with the case. So we have this DJI case here. It was from the Adventure combo. So this case is actually a plastic case. As you can see, there are some scuffs here. I think it's a good way to protect your camera, and also it gives you the ability to clip the magnetic mount onto a portrait mode like that. It's not heavy at all, so when you're biting it, which I'm going to talk about later, when you're biting it with the bite mount, it's not going to hurt your jaw. If you can see, my lens protector is not from DJI, it's actually from a third party called MAGISN, M-A-G-I-S-N, magazine or something like that. Your lens protector usually has a coating called the hydrophobic coating. This repels water, fingerprints and stuff like that. It usually wears off. Like most of the time you come out and your footage is blurred, it's foggy, you have, you know, watermarks and stuff. When that happens, there's nothing you can really do to fix it, so you just have to change the lens protector. If you guys know how to fix the hydrophobic coating, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know how to do it instead of buying a lens protector every time. Next, let's talk about the most important mount, or my favorite mount, which is the DJI bike mount. As you can see. So the DJI bike mount is the mount that I use all the time. Like every single cycling vlog is done with this bike mount. And the reason why I use the bike mount instead of the helmet mount and the chest mount is because it is the most flexible. Firstly, you can hold it this way, you can hold it upright, you can hold it upside down with your fingers, you can put it in your mouth. And the best thing, and I've said this so many times, is after you're done filming, you can put it in your pocket. You know, with the helmet, with the chest mount, it's stuck there. And you have to wear the helmet mount everywhere, like an antenna, or the chest mount everywhere you go. I got mine from DJI. This is the original DJI bike mount. I think it's a very good mount. Next, it will be my second favorite accessory, which is this VRIG. I think that's the brand, V-Rig. It's a tiny little tripod, super small, nice little tripod. This whole thing can go in your back pocket as well. And it extends. Pretty tall, look. It's like at least 1 arm's length of extension. It can be a selfie stick. There's so many things you can do with this, and it really compresses all the way down to this. You can also open the base into a tripod base. So yeah, it's a pretty cool little accessories. And the last accessory, super quick. The last accessory are these cases. So I just actually bought this case from Telecine. They are both essentially the same thing. Charging case from DJI. This came with the Adventure bundle. If you can't get this, you can always look for the Telecine. Talking about this, the great thing is that you can leave your batteries in and you can see the status of the batteries, like how much battery they have. It doesn't charge your batteries on the go. You have to plug it into the wall socket to get it to charge your batteries, but you can charge all the batteries together, and that's the great thing about it. It's just like a charging port. The second thing it can do is that it can also be used as a portable charger with this USB-C, and you can keep your micro SD cards on the top here. Can you see? And yeah, this is a good way to bring 3 batteries around. And I think those are all the things that I use with my Action 4. If you are using Action 4, Action 5, good for you. I don't know about all the other cameras and the models, but this will work for Action 4 and Action 5. I hope this video helps you in some way, and I hope the camera setup is as interesting as you thought it was. And if this helps you and you haven't subscribed, please like and subscribe to the channel. And other than that, I will see you in the next